for Man Bear Pig. Back to the treehouse. Back to the treehouse. What's happening, Shadow? Also, the music is way too loud. I just realized how loud the music is. There it is. Shadow, I also watched some classic films this weekend so far. I rewatched Meet the Deedles for a very specific reason. I didn't just decide I want to watch Meet the Deedles again. Like it was a requirement. Something happened that reminded me of Meet the Deedles, and I was like, well, I got some laundry to do, and I gotta clean up some stuff and do some errands, not errands, do some chores, so let's throw on Meet the Deedles. But I also threw on a movie I had not seen in a long time. Muppet Treasure Island. And then I also watched The Crazies from, I believe, 2008, starring Timothy Olyphant. Timothy Olyphantastic. And, I also watched a movie called The Sleepover because of How Did This Get Made, which I'm pretty sure they said in their episode that if you watch it, you're definitely putting yourself on a watch list. And I think I'm on that watch list for sure. Oh, man. I feel like you can't even talk about that movie without raising eyebrows. And I don't mind raising eyebrows. But it's a very strange movie. Boom, look at that. Clean deck of the treehouse. Clean deck. Oh, nice. Research table? I've never heard of Meet the Deedles. Saw Muppet Treasure Island when I was younger, but I just remember boredom. Meet the Deedles is a Have you not been here when I've talked about Meet the Deedles? It's kind of become a it's really a part of my life in a very strange way. But Meet the Deedles stars a very young Paul Walker. I say young, but probably like 18. So still an adult, but you know, his boyish charm is more boyish than it is adult boyish. And he plays a fraternal twin brother to Steve Van Warmer, and you might be saying to yourself, who's Steve Van Warmer? And exactly. They play surfer brothers who have just turned 18, and after their friends kidnap them on their 18th birthday and take them parasailing, they get kicked out of school for constant truancy. And their father, who's this big old businessman on Hawaii, to teach them a lesson, is going to send them to a, like, survival camp run by one of his nom buddies in Wyoming, near Yellowstone National Park. And I will say, so for brothers to get involved with a crime, so it's Men at Work. I've never even seen Men at Work. It's probably a much better version of this. But they also don't get involved with a crime necessarily. But what ends up happening is they find out after their trip to Wyoming that the gentleman who runs the survival camp was lying to their father, and the survival camp actually got shut down. So now he's going to do just survival training in the middle of the woods in Yellowstone National Park. Sheen and Estevez are trash collectors. You mean as actors, or... Zing, Sheen brothers, aka Estevez brothers. Zing. Zing Emilio for taking that job for the fucking Mighty Ducks reboot. I watched one episode of that shit. That was bad. I'm not even saying the Mighty Ducks was good. It's just, like, better than that shit. But these brothers, the Deedles, they are in the car with this survivalist former Vietnam vet. But Disney made the Ducks. They did. They made a professional hockey team named the Ducks after a pretty well-received movie, which I think the first movie is pretty good. I think the second movie is a fun level of bad, and then I think the third movie is like a quizzical, like, head-cocking kind of bad, where you're just like, what? The third movie I think should be studied in terms of baddom. The second movie is just like, yeah, it's bad, but it's fun. We're having fun. But Meet the Deedles is one of those Disney movies that, like, I'm pretty sure they burnt the physical copies and they tried to make it, like, not exist, and then when the streaming when the streaming age dawned, they were like, well, we can throw this on Disney Plus. There's some weirdos named Kirk that will watch this shit. And I remember seeing it, like, and my eyes kind of, like, exploded. Like, Meet the Deedles? I haven't seen that in years. And then I turned it on and I was like, oh, I liked a garbage movie. I think it's just because it was on constantly on Disney Channel. I think that's the only reason. But yeah, Meet the Deedles is about these kids. They're these 18-year-olds. And they're told they gotta go to survival training. And this guy, his name's like Sergeant Flower or something. He ends up missing a turn, so they get involved in a very intense car wreck where they accidentally steal the clothes of a Mel and Mo, who are two female survivalists who were just accepted into the Yellowstone Park Ranger Service as trainees to help with their prairie dog problem. And now we meet the villain, played by Dennis Hopper, who is a former captain, ranger leader, lieutenant, one of the highest ranking ranger at Yellowstone. He was a former one who got fired after he was messing with the geysers at Yellowstone because he wanted to make them bigger, and it ended up blowing up in his face, but somehow killing like 7 other tourists. They don't really talk about how that's possible, but he gets fired, so he vows to get back at those that wronged him by using prairie dogs to divert Old Faithful's geyser to a man-made geyser that he has on his property, so he can create a new national park and make the money off of that, because as we know, national parks are big business. He's the Elon Musk of making a national park on his shitty trailer park land, which is an apt metaphor because his idea is terrible, and of course it's not going to work. Anyway, Dennis Hopper finds out about these rodent experts that are now there to take care of their prairie dog problem, and then now he has a new enemy because the prairie dogs are helping him with his evil plan to get back at Captain. That's right, it's Captain Pine and the rest of the Yellowstone Park Service. And then, you know, as you can expect, some hijinks ensue because they're not prairie dog experts, they're surfer dudes from Hawaii. And even though they're Hawaiian and they make, well, they're not native Hawaiian, they're white dudes who lived in Hawaii their whole lives. All of the music is ska music, and I think that's why I liked it when I was younger, because it's just wall-to-wall ska, baby. Wall-to-wall ska and swing revival. The highest rank ranger is Weeblos or Eagle Scout if they're old enough. I saw something that needed to be adjusted. So yeah, anyway. But it's really bad. It's a really bad movie. I recommend, like, if you ever find yourself at a drunken movie night with friends and you have Disney Plus and you're like, I don't want to actually pay attention to this movie, I want to talk to my friends, I would suggest putting on Meet the Deedles just for, like, the awe factor of, like, holy shit, like, movies like this got made at some point. It's that, I mean, it's kind of just a helpful reminder that the movie industry has always made shitty fucking movies that, like, you feel like they have no confidence in, and they just let them out anyway because they know it'll make some kind of money, and they've already, like, made the movie. So what do we have to lose besides a little bit of respect? Nothing says Disney Channel like no effects on your soundtrack. Oh no, it's like, oh my gosh. And the reason I rewatched Meet the Deedles is because my brother, he called me at like 11 o'clock, and it was during a work week, so I was like already in bed, and I was like kind of like about to go to sleep, and I get a call from him, and I'm like, oh shit, there's a problem. And I go, what's up? He's like, you don't own the Meet the Deedles soundtrack, right? And I said, no. Basically, the Meet the Deedles soundtrack is not on any streaming service, and it has songs that are literally nowhere else, and I guess, and I guess, for some strange reason, a lot of the songs that were on it just, like, have disappeared from existence. I don't know. I don't understand why. And he goes, okay, and hangs up. And I was like, I don't know why he's asking me such a weird question. And then the next time we saw each other, he's like, I bought you a CD that is the Meet the Deedles soundtrack. Some guy had it unopened. And I was like, that's hilarious. I gotta get this for Kirk. And I was like, holy shit. That's gonna be awesome to have that CD playing in my car, and just experience the nostalgia of a terrible movie. And sure enough, I was like, well, let me re-listen to, or let me rewatch Meet the Deedles. And hilariously, something that kind of blew my mind Shadow, do you know the song Superman by Goldfinger? It was on the, it was on the Tony Hawk soundtrack, and it's kind of like the hit song from that, I think, that first game. Oh, confused about what to do. Sometimes I want to throw it all away. So here I am, getting older all the time. But getting older all the time, feeling younger in my mind. I love Superman before Tony Hawk. So that song is in the Meet the Deedle soundtrack. But what's weird is they use it for like, it has the iconic opening horn section, and then they don't use any of the words, and then they end it so fast. And I'm like, that's kind of a testament to this movie, that of all the songs that they kind of bury in the movie itself, it's Superman, the most popular song, the most popular ska song probably ever, because of Tony Hawk and because of, well, its quality, but mostly the Tony Hawk connection, because everybody played that game. Clean the chairs to have somewhere to sit. You gotta have lunch, you know. Gotta clean up the lunch area. Never played Tony Hawk? Wow. That was a really popular game. I'm kind of shocked. I think it's one of the best-selling games of all time. And that's not a judgment on you. I'm just saying, I didn't realize its impact. I was just like enjoying it and didn't realize that everybody bought it. Yeah, Meet the Deedles. It's so weird how it's not a good movie. There's not really any way to change that, or change that thought. But what's funny is how Paul Walker, who I don't think is like an exceptional actor, and I don't think is like I don't think like his quality of actor is what made Fast and Furious successful. But I can say he can be a charismatic actor, and in this movie, it's just like, man, he sucks. Like, he's not good as this dumb surfer dude, which is weird. Because it seems like dumb surfer dudes are pretty easy for charisma, and it just somehow, like, falls apart with him. And his brother is, like, riding the line between super genius and complete moron, because they need a character who has like a plan and can like do these things that seem ridiculous and come up with this technology in the movie that's like, okay, well, that would be available now, but that wasn't available in the late 90s when this came out. You know, it doesn't add up. It's not good. It's not a good movie. And then you had Dennis Hopper, who like somehow is less menacing than he was as like King Koopa or Bowser in the Super Mario Brothers movie. This is crazy. Crazy movie, crazy time. But I think worth a fun little watch with friends and family. Meet the Deedles. Surf, Wyoming. But at least that movie didn't put me on a list. I watched a movie this weekend, Shadow, that I'm pretty sure put me on a list. I don't know if you already heard, but I just have to hope that the agent assigned to that list will see that I've watched several movies that were featured on How Did This Get Made, and then realize that, oh, maybe just a fan of that podcast. I don't think he's a, Jared from Subway type. Jen, have you ever watched a movie that made you feel a little, a little wrong? Maybe I should not. Let's see. This guy has seen Ladybugs. Okay, book him. It wasn't even Ladybugs. I haven't watched that one. I felt like that one was too far. Because it actually makes a joke about straight up pedophilia. So I'm like, that one I have not rewatched, strangely. Even though I think it was free on a streaming service, and I put it in the list, and I was like, you know what? Nah. We're going to give you a nah on that one, Rodney Dangerfield. Even though Ladybugs, that episode, I was like, oh boy. Oh boy. How did some comedies just... How do they get away? Sorry about that. 2 hours of seeing a hick stuck and assault Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, seems like a, not a good time. But the movie I watched, not saying you should watch it on Amazon Prime, where it is available for people to watch, was a movie called The Sleepover. What am I missing? It was a bus stop, not picnic. Was it a bus stop picnic? Yeah, but The Sleepover was a movie about girls going into high school. So, 8th grade girls. And they were having a sleepover, and they're talking about boys, and then their rivals who are pretending to be adults, but are mostly just the same level of, immature and shitty. Am I? Is that really it? about this railing. It seems like I'm missing like a whole fucking section. Oh, is it connected to that? That might be it. That might be the problem. Because it's technically all connected. This was a PG movie? I believe it was. And it wasn't... I feel like defending it in any way makes you suspicious. So I'm going to choose my words carefully. First off, it's a movie that has pretty huge stars now who were not huge stars at the time. It was Steve Carell before his big hits in movies and in TV. Like, it was just kind of like a gig for him that he wasn't bad in, but it was definitely was not like him saying like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be my comedic magnum opus. Really? You're gonna make me, because it's all connected for reals? Because it's all connected for reals. Where does it break? Oh, you've got to be shitting me. I'm just doing this because I'm annoyed. That's how it's turned out. It has Brie Larson, who has won an Academy Award for Room. It has Jane Lynch, Jeff Garlin. I believe her name's Alex Vega, the girl who was in Spy Kids. And a bunch of, you know, actors and actresses of the time, like child actresses of the time. And it's, you know, they go on they do have a sleepover, but they're not like the cool kids. And then the cool kids challenge them to a scavenger hunt, and it's all pretty tame. But then there's like a section where it's like, okay, steal the boxer shorts of this dude who happens to be the main character's crush. And it's like, okay, so she's gonna break into his house, grab boxer shorts, and leave. And it's like, oh, no. She's gonna sneak into a shower, and he's gonna turn on the shower so she gets soaking wet in a dress, and then she's gonna see him get undressed and just stare at his ass and probably his dick. And you're like, okay. And I don't know why, like, and they talked about it on How Did This Get Made. They're like, well, it's not high school, it's junior high. And the woman on the panel, June, was like, look, you know, what these girls were getting up to does not even compare to what I was getting up to at their age, and blah, 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 and life experience, and teenagers, and, you know, they'll live their lives, they'll do their things. But I was like, I don't know, I've never understood why it's acceptable for, like, high school students. It seemed acceptable for Superbad because, in theory, they're probably 18, and probably everybody they're talking to is 18 because they're seniors and they're about to, you know, embark on adulthood. But this is like, ooh, they are young. And then there was a couple references which felt very like, ooh, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable to say about people in their age range. But yeah. It was a weird one. It was a weird one. And it's, I mean, they said it in the How Did This Get Made episode. They were trying to make it seem like Clueless, and I was like, yeah, I haven't watched Clueless in a long time, but this goes a little harder than Clueless was, and those people were straight up adults. Like, they looked like adults. Like, it seemed like we all kind of accepted that they were adults. Boy. But yeah. The Sleepover. Kind of a weird one. I also watched The Crazies, which was kind of a movie that I've kind of wanted to see for a while, and then it was just never lined up, and then I saved it on lists and then just didn't get around to it. And I finally saw it on that list on, I think it's HBO. Well, no, it's not HBO anymore. It's just Max, but I refuse to call it that. On Max, there's a list that is just the movies that are leaving. And I was like, you know what? I kept telling myself I'm gonna watch this. I want to watch it. Let's watch it. So I watched it, and it's all right. I don't know why I was expecting more from it. It started pretty rad. Like, the way it started, I was like, this might be pretty good. But then it kind of just fell apart on me. Because there were moments that you're like, okay, well, now this movie's going to do this moment where it's like, can I trust this person? Or do they have this disease that's making people crazy, aka the crazies? But it doesn't really do that. It kind of does, and then it's just like, yeah, obviously this dude is not doing well. Instead of making it more ambiguous. I think every zombie movie, or every movie like that, where it's maybe not zombies, maybe it's an infection or a disease, they always have that, they might be infected. I looked at my brother's HBO account. It's nothing but 50 billion biopics and docuseries. Well, that's because of how it's, I think that speaks to your brother more than it does the account. Because it does cater to what you're watching. So because I watched the Batman, it's like, oh, so you want to watch the Harley Quinn cartoon? I was like, no. And because I watch, like, absolutely random, obscure, like, not obscure, but like random movies from the 90s and early 2000s that most people have forgotten about. They're like, oh, do you want to watch this crap? And I'm like, no, I've never even heard of that crap. I want to watch the crap I've heard of. Oh, the cap is this whole thing? Oh, it's even saying that's the roof. Roof cap is in. Does this have like a utility a purpose? Something that the roof cap does for this building? Yeah, Muppet Treasure Island, I watched it mostly because a homie of mine, an old coworker, and a much more successful streamer and content creator than I am, we had an argument. Not an argument. We had a disagreement about what is better, Muppet Christmas Carol or Muppet Treasure Island. I picked Muppet Christmas Carol, and he picked Muppet Treasure Island. And I was like, I don't even remember watching Muppet Treasure Island, but I watch Muppet Christmas Carol basically every year. And while I was doing those chores, that was the excuse to watch Meet the Deedles, and I was already on Disney Plus. I was like, you know what? Let's give this Muppet Treasure Island a shot. And I was like, okay, I see why you could like it. I can see why you find it good, but I would never watch it over Michael Caine in a Muppet Christmas Carol. Never. Ever. I thought this job would give me the $5,000, and it looks like it is not. I haven't seen Muppet Christmas since I was a teen, and can still sing part of Marley and Marley. I remembered one tune from Muppet Treasure Island, and it was Cabin Fever. And I was like, okay, so based on what I remember about the movie, they have to go obviously find a treasure island with Muppets, hence the name. But what I just remember, they start basically going nuts, and that's the conceit of the song Cabin Fever. But I was like, is there a reason? And it was just like, no, there's no wind, and we've been out on the sea for some time, and then they just have this crazy wackadoo song, and then they're just like, all right, back to work. And I'm like, what's going, what did you all take mushrooms? Like, there was no reason to do that. And I will say there were some jokes that landed for me in a Muppet Treasure Island. There's still some jokes that I was like, all right, I see what you did there, Muppets. I like it. And there's like this meme that says the reason Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol are great is because Michael Caine treats the Muppets like fellow actors, and Tim Curry sees himself as a Muppet. And I was like, I don't think that's the case. I just think Tim Curry showed up and was like, I'm going to give 110% because I'm Tim Curry. I'm like one of the greats. I just thought he brought the heat. I don't think he was necessarily like, I'm a Muppet. And he played a one-legged dude, and I believed he had one leg. It's acting. Acting power and prowess. I found the kid kind of annoying. Because Muppet Treasure Island, the main character is not Tim Curry, it is a child who plays Jim Hawkins. And in Muppet Christmas Carol, the main character is Sir Michael Caine. So I was like, oh, this kid is who we're following, not Tim Curry. That's right, I forgot about that. Tim Curry is the secret, spoiler, villain. And apparently the owner of Long John Silver's franchise restaurants. But when like the kid did his first song and I was like, we're gonna be following this kid, I was like, I'm kind of bummed about that. I don't really find this kid very interesting. I don't relate to this child. I don't like this child. This child also reminds me a little bit of one of my best good homies, Alex Slevko, but he seems less cool and less fun to hang out with, and kind of a whiny bitch. I'm just kidding. The dude was an orphan and was being abused. But I just didn't enjoy it. Just didn't enjoy him. Yeah, I went from Muppet Treasure Island to the Crazies. That was kind of a stark transition, but I enjoyed the Crazies. I just didn't think it was as good as I'd hoped it would be. The Crazies started out great, because it's small town, you know, small town living. We're just a small town of farmers, you know, small town living. It didn't have that attitude about it, because it was before politicians were weaponizing that shit to get more votes and distract you from the fact that they're not doing anything about the world ending. Politics corner on Church Has Glasses. I guess I don't have non or tax exempt status anymore, telling you how to vote. But actually, I didn't tell you how to vote. I'm saying they both do it. But the Crazies starts out, you know, small town. This cop goes to a baseball game. It's the first baseball game, so he's like, first day of spring. Very, you know, it's in Iowa too. I'm pretty sure it's an Iowa town. And you're like, okay, cool, rad. And then this dude walks out onto the field, and he is just carrying a shotgun. So the cops are like, get all the kids off the field. We'll talk to him. I guess the dude has a history of drinking. They assume that's what's going on. And the dude is just staring glassy-eyed at the cop with a shotgun, and then points it at him, and he's like, dude, put the gun down, man. Like, this is serious business. You can't point a gun at a police officer. And the dude pulls the gun up, and the police officer shoots him in the head. So it becomes kind of like this, even though we know what the movie The Crazies is going to be about, if you knew anything about it beforehand. But I was like, oh, this is kind of starting out like a mystery. Got ourselves a little mystery afoot. Hi, Squirtle. Talking about the movie The Crazies. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah, I didn't realize it was a remake until I went to it to finally watch it, and it said in this gritty remake, and I'm like, a remake? And I was like, maybe I'll have to watch the original after I watch this one. But, you know, I just didn't think, because with that start, I'm like, okay, so it's going to be kind of a drama where we start asking questions about why he did it. It's going to be a mystery. And it goes down that road for a while, where it's like the small town talks about the cop. Maybe he reacted too quickly, you know, everybody loves that guy. I forgot his name. But he was probably just drunk or this, that. And then his family's like, no, he got sober. He was very proud of that fact. He was celebrating sobriety. He was back being a good father, back to work and shit. And then instead of like being a mystery that takes a while, it just kind of turns into the standard horror fare. With like, it does like, you know how horror films, it sounds like a dumb, violent version of The Experts. Well, now I want to know what The Experts are all about. Might be a movie I want to watch. Oh shit, forgot I was on a frickin' roof. Also, Squirtle, I'm watching any movies lately? Barbie. Because I'm talking about The Crazies, a movie from early 2000s. Makes sense that was a Romero movie. Missing link fact, their scent is very much like that of a muskrat, and they seem to crouch right down while marking their territory to appear much smaller than they really are. Experts had a good premise, but was badly made. That's the worst, isn't it? Like, I kind of felt that way about the Crazies. Like, it was, okay, some type of government experiment gone wrong, it's taken over a town, and now they have to cover it up. So I was like, okay, eventually we're gonna be talking to the government. There's gonna be a scientist who gives us the lowdown. It's gonna be more complicated than just it dropped in their lake and they get the drinking water out of the lake. It's gonna be something worse than that. And instead, it just kind of, and that's what I was gonna get into. It drops into those, like, those horror movie tropes that are in every fucking horror movie. Where, like, not even joking, they did it multiple times, this specific one, where a person goes into a room to take care of a normal task, or, like, to get a drink of water, to grab something, and then as they walk back or walk to a different part of the room, there's a person standing there, and you're like, oh, that person's gonna get him. They do that multiple times in the Crazies. To a point where I was like, okay, I get it. Like, there are people around, and they are crazy. Like, that's what you've been talking about. They do the classic, oh man, this person's about to strike. He has his weapon in his hand, up in the air. It's gonna come down on them, and they get shot. They do that multiple times. It kind of... Last movie I watched was The Karate Kid and The Parent Trap. Which Karate Kid? And which Parent Trap? Haven't seen any new ones. Are we talking Jaden Smith Karate Kid? Or are we talking Ralph Macchio? Or are we talking Next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank? Which, if it was the Hilary Swank one, I'd actually give you mad respect. Because that movie is weird and bonkers, but a fun watch. Because that movie is just like, there's a high school with basically Nazis in them. They have a club where it's like, hi, we're Nazis? Like, that's basically... Soviets made their own version of a small town USA to train their spies, but everything is from the 50s and outdated. So then they hire American nightclub designers to remake their shops by convincing them they are remodeling a Midwest town, hence the old-timey stuff. Stars Travolta. That is weird. I gotta see that movie. Because that seems very strange. Seems like it might pair well with Oppenheimer. We got a clean roof. The one with Ralph and The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan. Oh shit. Ralph Macchio. First Karate Kid's a classic, and it's great. I know you don't watch movies like me, Squirtle. Not to say that I watch movies better. I'm saying you don't watch a movie and then are like, I have to watch all of their sequels within the next, like, 5 days. But I do recommend going down the journey that is the Karate Kid sequels. They are just fantastic in weird ways. The Karate Kid sequels have their own quality. Roof trim. Not the Haley Mills. I've watched them before. Okay, they're so fun. That's one of those series where if I watch the first one, I'm gonna be like, crap, now I have to watch all the freaking Karate Kids. Except for the Jaden Smith one. No offense, Jaden, but your Karate Kid is just a postcard for visiting China. And it's not very good. And no offense, Jackie Chan, but you beating up a car is not going to be the same as Pat Morita giving that speech about his wife in a internment camp. It's not gonna happen. You ain't gonna beat Pat Morita in a Mr. Miyagi fight. It ain't happening. Ain't happening. Wait, you mean to tell me that lying to your parents can't fix divorce, Shadow? I mean, that's what I've learned. Disney never lies. I've been working on some back-to-school stuff since I started the 30th. I've just been throwing on a movie in the background, but I get way too focused on the movie. Oh, I can understand that. Unless I got like a Lego set, then I can kind of tune the movie out unless I want to see something specific. But man, two movies I saw were Call Northside 777. Shadow, that's why I'm glad you found this stream. Besides, you know, just hanging out. You always hit me to movies I have never fucking heard of. And sometimes you just need that classic old school movie, man. Sometimes you need some of that J stew. Man, I think I've seen The Parent Trap a ton of times. I don't remember a single thing. I just remember a young red-haired Lindsay Lohan. Was that Dennis Quaid? Was that the father? It was Dennis Quaid, right? And the mother was British. The Parent Trap is one of those movies where I feel like if they remade it now to make it more accurate, it wouldn't necessarily be less fun or less funny, but people would be outraged because they've changed it. And it's like, dude, who cares? That's a big fat who cares, man. That's a big fat who gives a shit. It's like, guess what? Telling kids that you can just lie to your parents to get them back together is not true. A Dog's Purpose. I have not seen this film. I've heard of it, and I think I know why you don't want to watch it. You know what I recommend for you? Homeward Bound. That'll get you... That'll get some emotions stirred up inside you for sure. And then make sure to not watch Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco. Because that's one of those movies where they're like, you know what will make this movie better? More dogs. And you're like, no. No, it won't. I get to you? Oh, yeah. Have you not seen Homeward Bound? With the talking? It's dogs and cats that can communicate with each other. One is played by Michael J. Fox, and I believe the cat is played by Sally Fields, and then I have no idea, but was it Paul Newman? And some older actor plays the other dog. Boom. Clean those eaves. Those eaves be clean. I've seen all the Beverly Hills Chihuahua. Okay, so Homeward Bound is better than Hollywood Hills, or Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I don't want to, insult you. I don't know if you love Beverly Hills Chihuahua as a franchise, but I have a feeling, not seeing Beverly Hills Chihuahua, that Homeward Bound is probably a little bit better than it. Just a tad. What the fuck? Threading the needle. Let's look at the trailer for Experts on YouTube. It has 2 comments, both saying they've never seen it. Those are great comments, very informative. Boom. Clean pillar. Roof trim thing is gonna drive me bananas. Oh, okay. Well, that's fixed. Alrighty. So now we got the walls of the house. And this shit. Parent Trap and the Karate Kid. The Karate Kid also had that classic 80s bully that's basically just a murderer, but they let it go in the movie. They're just like, oh, he wants to murder. Basically ready to murder. Who cares? Same thing like Footloose. Remember Footloose had villains that were just like, hey, we're cool with murder. Sure, it's just a story of a karate tournament. But hey, if you die, that's just, you know, the life of karate tournaments, you know? Sometimes you die. Also, oh yeah, the Karate Kid, the first one, features golf and stuff, which is a putt-putt golf and family fun center that is in my hometown of Downey, California. Still there. Still basically looks the same. If you ever want to go to the arcade and putt-putt golf course from Karate Kid, it's still there, baby. It was also the putt-putt golf course featured in the film Punks from Disney many years later. I believe they called it King Putt-Putts, and they put different signs on it, but people who know. People who know. They're really talking about golf and stuff from Downey, California. Oh, that's right. That movie also had Elizabeth Shue. Boy. Elizabeth Shue. Fantastic. Great actress. Also, kind of the coolest of all, like, leading ladies of that time. Elizabeth Shue is so good. She makes it okay that they changed Jennifer's in Back to the Future Part 2. Cute as a button in Karate Kid. Karate Kid also has one of my favorite leading lady turnover rates in a series. So, okay. Karate Kid Part 1. He's got this girl that he's pining after who's Elizabeth Shue, right? And she's cool. She's dope. Like, great character. Seems intelligent, seems funny. Seems also very attractive, also a cheerleader, kind of like the coolest ever. And then the beginning of... I've seen golf and stuff before. In Norwalk, right? The only one I know of is in Downey. Or smack dab in Downey, California. But Elizabeth Shue's character, at the very beginning of Karate Kid Part 2... This dude being Daniel-san, comes in and is like, man, I can't stand this girl. She wrecked the car that I got for free from Mr. Miyagi, this classic-ass car. She wrecked it, and now she's being kind of a bitch and going to UCLA, getting, you know, just banged out by UCLA bros. And like, fuck that bitch, I'm going to Japan with you, Mr. Miyagi. And you're like, okay, little harsh. That seems like... Maybe she got into a fender bender, and, you know, based on your hot-headedness and the way you react to some things, Daniel-san, maybe you shouldn't break up with her. Maybe you should, you know, talk it out, but we need a new leading lady, so Elizabeth Shue is gone in that movie. Then, in the second movie, meets this Japanese girl. It's pretty clear, okay, new main squeeze, this Japanese lady. And then in the beginning of Karate Kid Part 3, it's found out, oh, she's like gonna be a part of a dance company. She's like not gonna be with me anymore. Injured car accident with love boyfriends who abandoned them. So in the second movie, his new girlfriend also pieces out by the third movie. She gets a dance opportunity and she breaks up with him. And probably then meets up with dance dudes, which dance dudes, I imagine, are cooler than Daniel-san. That's just my guess. Anywhoozle. At the beginning of the third film, we find out that the dancer girl is leaving him and gonna go pursue dance in New York, and you're like, okay, well, another girl out of your league, out of your life. Then it's in Downey, but it's on the border of Downey and Norwalk. Okay, makes sense. Then in Karate Kid Part 3, probably one of the most hilarious moves in a movie I have ever seen. So, like, movies have these love interests, and like, part of me hates it because it seems like, oh, well, we gotta have a love interest. Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna be the young hot starlet that is gonna be with our main character? And in Karate Kid Part 3, he hits on, I believe, Robin Lively. It's a redheaded woman who was in Teen Witch and has been in some other shit. And, you know, attractive, lovely girl. In Karate Kid Part 3, before you even get to the second act, she has rejected this dude. So it goes from beginning of second movie, lose the girl in the first movie, beginning of the third movie, lose the girl for the second movie. Then in the third movie, you lose the third girl before the third movie's even over. And Billy Zabka left Daniel-san so he could compete in a college diving team against Rodney Dangerfield. On to bigger and better things. But that movie, that's one of the reasons that Karate Kid Part 3 just makes me laugh like crazy, is because the female lead in that one, it's like, sure, let's go out on a date. And then while on that date is like, so I'm going to be moving back to Ohio, and I kind of have a boyfriend in Ohio, so like, yikers. So nothing's going to happen here, so I'm glad you came out on the date and you're still down to go somewhere, but like, you ain't getting any, Daniel-san. And then spends the whole movie just as his friend, which is not a problem, but it definitely started that movie with the implication like, oh, they're going to go on a date. They're going to be the new, you know, they're going to be the new couple of the Karate Kid franchise, but it cuts that out real quick. Where it's just like, nah, we ain't though. Sorry, Daniel-san. No Robin Lively. I think it's Robin Lively. No Robin Lively for you. Then she was just there for the whole movie anyway, which is so weird. I just want to know whose decision that was. Okay, stupid fucking ladder. Get me off the ladder. Also, the villain of Karate Kid Part 3 is just a Nicolas Cage villain, not played by Nicolas Cage. so dastardly and so abusive of a young man. Thanks, Squirtle. Thank you, Squirtle. Because I believe Daniel-san is supposed to be 18? 18 or 19? Probably 18. But he is like 25 by the time, probably like 30 by the time Karate Kid Part 3 comes out. And this man is just like abusing the shit out of him in Karate Kid Part 3. Oh, shit. And we got all that rich backstory and lore in Cobra Kai, the YouTube show that was bought by Netflix that took over the world. Oh, excuse me. Squirtle, were you here for the discussion about The Sleepover, a movie that definitely put me on a watch list? There's a... No? Okay. It's probably a good thing. I will say one thing about, like, The Sleepover and about its content that I think nobody can really disagree with. I think you can make a movie about kids in that age, like going from middle school to high school. You can make a movie about that and about the struggles and about the confusion and about the weirdness. You can make that movie, and they did. It was called 8th Grade, written and directed by Bo Burnham, and it's frickin' fantastic. The Sleepover tries to do that, but also tries to be a fun, quirky comedy while also dealing with the complications of dealing with puberty amongst girls who are going into high school, not at the end of high school, which is problematic. Because, not because it's not truthful, not because it's not honest to the human experience, it's because there are gross dudes, and maybe some women, who want to, you know, explore that idea, and they shouldn't, because that's wrong. So making art about that isn't necessarily wrong, but you just have to be more careful. I think Bo Burnham was when he made the movie 8th Grade. I also think that movie is rated R and not for kids. So I think it's kind of you know, just kind of a thing you gotta work a little harder to make that story. You can't just kind of go in flippantly, because then you end up with a weird-ass fucking movie that puts people on FBI watch lists. But I have to hope that they see that I subscribe and listen to the podcast How Did This Get Made, where they talked about that movie, so they can go, okay, he's done this with other films from them. He's not a creep. That's it. That's my, I guess that's gonna be my rant for the stream today. you're gonna make movies about that type of stuff, you just have to be a little more aware of what you're doing. Oh, but here now we have this question, because I understand. I don't know. The FBI will also see that you watch Meet the Diddlers. No, it's Deedles. Meet the Deedle Shadow. I hate how funny that joke is. I hate the layers. I just picture, like, me in an interrogation room with some dudes in suits. Like, well, then why did you watch The Sleepover? It's like, well, I really like the podcast How Did This Get Made? And they talked about The Sleepover. You could see it in my Spotify that I've listened to it right after watching that movie. Huh. Interesting. And what about Meet the Diddlers? And I was like, I think you read that wrong. It's Meet the Deedles. Oh. Why are you watching so many bad movies? Let's talk about that for a minute. Why aren't you watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Because I heard it's gonna make me cry. It's the same reason I haven't watched Coco. Because I heard it from good authority that it's probably going to make me cry. And I listened to those people. Like the same people that told me that Black Mirror would give me anxiety attacks. I believe those people. Yeah, that's... So there was one part in The Sleepover that I was kind of like, what the fudge are you talking about? So in the movie, these girls go on a scavenger hunt, and they're supposed to be staying home, right? So the parents believe that they're home. The dad is being fooled because her brother is covering for her at the house, and the mom is out for the night. But she suspects that her daughter may have snuck out, right? Well, in the movie, there's a part where they're racing home and they're trying to get in before the parents, go to speak to them or go to check on them, see if they're asleep. And during that, they go up to the treehouse and they get a rope and they try to shimmy along the rope between the treehouse and the house. While they do that, the treehouse starts to fall and basically lands lined up with the entrance of the treehouse. Lines up. Okay, so there we go. Like this window frame is saying it's not clean. So this treehouse lands like folded almost to where it lands right up against the window so they could just walk through the window. And in the morning they get up and the dad goes, "Ha, I knew one day that treehouse would come down." I was like, "You didn't notice until now? When the treehouse smacked against your fucking house? You didn't notice? You didn't hear any noise and thought to yourself, I better check that out. The treehouse magically fell in a way against your home that you just didn't hear it? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. You would have felt it. You would have felt something slam against your house." There's a lot of things like that in that movie. Look, I think the How Did This Get Made episode was necessary, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the sleepover. You just have to acknowledge it's a little weird. It's just a little not cool. I also haven't been offered another job yet. Kind of making me suspicious. Gosh. We're at 99% clean. We got this lovely treehouse ready for this crazy person who believes in Bigfoot and has described the behavior of every other animal in the forest to describe Bigfoot's behaviors. Boom. Clean door. I have to figure out what random nook and cranny I frickin' missed. I'm not down to the list yet, so that means there's at least 4 places. Roof underside trims. Remove underside trims? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Vertical house trims. There's 2 vertical house trims, right? 2. So vertical house trims are clean. Oh. Upper deck. Was it upper deck what joists? Rim joists. Son of a bitch, there's 10 of them. There you are, you son of a bitch. There you are. Oh, you son of a bitch. Middle deck rim joists. Whatever. Is there a movie planned for tomorrow? There is. I do have a movie planned for tomorrow evening. It's semi-related to the movie that we watched last Monday. To try to come up with, like... I try to come up with, like, duos. Like, movies that kind of go together. Because of this shit. Window frames? What are you talking about? I hit all the window frames. Are you kidding? There we go. Now, roof underside trim. What in the world are you talking about? Really? Really? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. More Thor? No, it's more woman related. Oh, let's see the whole thing. Damn. Treehouse looks mighty fine. You've spruced the spruce. I can't tell you how good it is to pirouette down these steps and smell fresh pine through the window. I was as close to packing up and moving out, but now I'm more determined ever than finding evidence of the beautiful missing link. Well, thanks. Thanks, Braj. Oh, that's right, there's a temple. I forgot about the frickin' temple. At least it'll put me over, $5 grand. Next door to my farm lives an order of the nicest, kindest, non-verbal monks whose temple is currently caked in manure, top to bottom. It's a heck of a story. I'll fill you in as you go, but basically, they're not here right now. And I thought it'd be only right and neighborly of me to get it hosed down in their absence. Something to give them a boost for when they returned. They sure could do with one. When I saw the title of this one, when I saw the title of this movie that's happening Monday, after reading the idea for Thor, I was like, yeah, well, I gotta play this. It also stars somebody that we had on a previous. What is this? Am I going to the, what is that called? The Howling, the Shrieking Shack? Oh boy. Pretty caked on there. So where to start? I don't know. I'm gonna guess you had something to do with the manure. Which is why you hired me, because you feel bad. You know about the mayor pipeline diverting all the water from the river to a secret mining rig? Oh, I knew it had to do with corruption. These monks have relied on that river to water their crops in time. No more, and now these crops are failing. Oh wow, what a shocker. The politicians screwed over the monks. There's a lot of nooks and crannies to this one. A lot of nooks and crannies, so I have a feeling. I think that's gonna... be the real issue. Is all the nooks and crannies when I get up top. Be good when I get the best power washer, because I won't have the accessories, but at a distance, I mean at a close distance, it'll be very effective. But yeah, generally, speaking of movies that are picked and whatnot, generally, I have movies picked out for the rest of this month, I think. Kind of remember when the list stops. I think I have... Oh shit, is this a Slytherin temple? I have movies set for quite a while now. I mean, they're always subject to change if I find out something is in the public domain that's crazy that needs to be watched. But I do have movies picked out for a little while. I've also considered, it's not a for sure, but I've considered switching to Baldur's Gate 3. Because it looks like just a barrel of fun, and I miss playing D&D. But that requires so much more work than just getting Baldur's Gate 3. But, like I said, that is not in stone. I'm also trying to figure out kind of, new motivations now that I'm kind of at the end of the moving rush, where now, like, more time can be spent kind of doing what I'd like to do rather than the chores needed to finishing out moving. Kind of getting back to a more clear schedule, clear focus. Get some other things taken care of. Bring back the podcast, which I know if anyone's watching this, they probably don't listen to NYPD Blue Balls, but that's been on hiatus because everyone who participates in NYPD Blue Balls was moving and trying to get their stuff together, and the equipment itself is kind of taking a bit of a dump on us, so trying to get that back up and running. Actually cleaning it not as well as we want. I've listened to the... You did? But you never watched the show NYPD Blue, right, Squirrel? Which is available on Hulu and I think Amazon. I think it's available. Amazon's a giant question mark, because sometimes it seems available and then it disappears all of a sudden. So I can never for sure say it's on Amazon. Did you watch some episodes because of the podcast? Because there are some episodes of the podcast that are done with a homie of mine, Ben, who only started watching NYPD Blue Balls because of the podcast. And I was like, I would love to talk to you about it, which we do on the podcast called Binging with Ben. Because NYPD Blue was very popular in the 90s, and I watched it when I was probably too young to be watching it. And watching it in a binging... I'm like the Spider-Man of power washing. That's not important information, and I don't know why I brought it up right now, talking about NYPD Blue. I've seen the first episode, but I put it on hold for sports. Sports?! Yeah. NYPD Blue. Obviously, we like it. We're doing a podcast going through every episode, but it is quite the show. Are these... I'm curious about these monks. It seems like Viking runes on this bad boy. Also doing a no ladder run, apparently. Gotta get that college scholarship, man. And sports? No, that's fine. It's really a show. I mean, something that, I mean, Kyle, my brother and podcast host, we talked about was like, because we did have a podcast called Asher Brothers Podcast, which I just had to kind of, not delete, but I had to remove like 100 and something episodes, because I honestly don't even remember what we talked about, and we weren't always the most PC with our opinions and thoughts, and I'm sure nothing we said was like way over the line, but I also don't remember. So I was like, I better just kind of just get rid of this right now and worry about reposting it later if I have time to like edit and whatnot. I don't know what my strategy and plan was for this. I kind of just started going, and now just random section of this place is clean. I thought I was going to go about it in a very systematic way, and then as a desperate act, the head monk sent them out on a pilgrimage of faith. Forgot I was listening to this guy's story. Oh yeah, and I was telling a story before I got distracted by my own work. Now I have no mind where they're headed, only that they took a vast multitude of eggs. They plan on egging a house. Those monks go hard. Those monks are going fucking Bart Simpson on their ass. Boom, 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 boom. Wow, nooks and crannies are right. I'm only getting the scholarship, but I'm not playing sports in college. You know, they can and will take away your scholarship for that, right? They have no problem threatening that stuff. Because sports is the main way those people get money. One of the biggest industries in sports, just college sports. Boom. Clean buttress. Jeez, nooks and crannies. Depends on the college and university. I guess it's true. Yes, that's true. Boom. Clean figurehead. Roof ridge. Only at $60 till that new gun. Boom. There's a fucking hurricane in Disneyland. It's still open. It's a Category 4 storm, which I think got down to Category 2. Disney can still bring magic to the people and take money from those people. Wall base. Stone base. Wall base. Oh my gosh. Oh, $42. Yeah, I saw the memes on, well, I don't know if they're technically memes, but I saw all the TikTok posts from, like, Disneyland accounts that were basically, like, there's a Category 4 storm coming to California, and all I'm thinking about is how the lines are going to be short at Disneyland, and I'm like, fuck you, dude. Not thinking about the people who have to fucking work there, considering a decent proportion of them don't have homes to go to. Unhoused human beings because they work for the mouse who doesn't pay them enough. Like, man, fuck you guys. And you don't want to ruin people's things, man, but like, Disneyland... I had a pass, you know, and then I figured out, well, no, two things happened. They increased the price to a level where it's like, clearly that's ridiculous. And then they made it like a part of the culture to just accept the fact that it's that expensive. Where it's like, yeah, sure, I spend this much money to go to Disneyland whenever I want, but if you think about it, I just have to go 100 times, and I have to spend like $8 grand in food and merchandise separately, and then it pays itself. If I only wear clothes that are sold at Disneyland and I only eat food made at Disneyland, then this pass actually pays off. Meanwhile, there's a guy who in college had no money, paid for a Magic Mountain pass, and got like a free hot dog. Got like 2 free hot dogs, so that was just their 2 meals every day. They aren't wrong about that. Every but Rise of Resistance is a 5-minute wait time. Good for you. You know what I'm saying? Good for you. That's what you want to do on your rainy day? Good for you. Possibility that the power goes out, and if that happens, then it's gonna be podcasts on my charged phone and a light while I make Lego sets. And all that shit is essentially free. Gotta clean these buttresses. You know what they say, you gotta wash your buttress. Everybody likes a clean buttress. Okay, so you got one clean buttress there. $5,000. You know what that means. Power washers. Professional duty. $5,000, dog. Now, I'm gonna keep it in my holster. Until I actually am right up, until I can get some accessories, or I have to get right up next to some shit. Boom. That's what we've been working for. That new washer. I'm all for a season pass. If, like, you do the math and it's worth it. Disneyland, man, it used to be, like, 3 trips? Nah, 5 trips. It used to be 5 trips a year could pay off the lowest season pass. So you'd get that bad boy. You would just go once a month, and it doubled. It's double that value. And if you never ate in that park, like you made some sandwiches, you know, and you just make it like, you know what? We don't have anything planned for tonight. Let's go to Disneyland. You know, let's take in Fantasmic. Let's go on like 4 rides. But now you have to fucking plan. If you want to get on that, like a handful of rides, you have to plan in the morning to get up. And this looks like something out of fucking Indiana Jones, dude. Just getting very distracted by the architecture of this temple. But now Disneyland is a thing you have to plan for an entire day. You can't just go down there and expect to get on certain things. You can, but it's not going to be the premier shit. And they don't give a damn. Because they know that there are families like spending their life fucking savings for 5 days at Disneyland. So they have to plan every second to actually see every single thing. I don't know, man. It ain't the same. It was always money. It was always money hungry. And always a beast that just came for your money and your nostalgia. But the one thing that changed is just how... It's just so clear now, as opposed to the way it was. Boom, pedestal, clean. Weird bowl thing, soon to be clean. Brazier. Interesting name. There's something else called a brazier in popular culture, or in life, that... remember when they just introduced, those apps to tell you the wait times. Boom. Holy shit, this thing is fire. I'm gonna say this architecture actually reminds me of Disney World. In the yeah, it's Disney World meets Indiana Jones is what this kind of. Damn, Ark made $63. Next level. Ledge. Okay, so that's connected to that. Also very Kingdom Hearts-ish. Other amusement parks are cool, but Knott's Berry Farm rides are insane. There's kind of like... Because obviously there are tiers, you know, of theme parks. Right? So, like, you have, like, Six Flags, which is basically, like, just above Carnival, but their rides are fucking crazy. So that's why people go. And then you got Knott's Berry Farm, who's, like, a couple steps above that, where it's, like, a mixture of that and Disneyland, right? And then you have Universal, which is basically just, like... We make movies here, but we also have, like, a couple rides you could fit in a warehouse. Yeah, Knott's Berry Farm has, like, pivoted. Because they were... Anywho, the monks were gone and we had a freakish twister. Or was that God trying to get rid of this? Temple, because it is evil. The temple has evil vibes. Gosh, this freaking power washer is just next level destruction. It's just eating through this whole thing. Yeah, this is a villain's lair. There's something about this thing. And Knott's Berry Farm and Universal have the, like, they really dug into the Halloween scare park stuff. Like, Knott's did it first, and they went pretty hardcore, like, fast. I remember, like, my brother would go, and he would tell me, like, you probably don't want to go to this. It's pretty nuts. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I can trust you. I'm not going to this. And the Universal one, I went to one with some homies who were big fans of the Stranger Things and fans of scare parks in general. And one year they had that in the Halloween, I think 4, The Return of Michael Myers. They had a lot of good movie-based rooms and whatnot, so we went that year, and that was dope. Good shit. Your cousin did makeup for Not Scary Farm. That's pretty dope. It's rad. I haven't been to a Not Scary Farm one. I think I went to one a long time ago, and it was pretty scary. But Universal is pretty great. I can recommend it. It was a good time. Barge board. Aha, barge board. He's a makeup artist and does my face paint for Halloween most of the time. That's dope. That is super dope. And I do think, and I might be way off, and probably am, but I do think that when it comes to the Universal one, you got all these guys and gals and folks that, like, really want to make just some kick-ass props and buildings and structure, and, like, they want to make just some kick-ass Halloween-based shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to go the distance. They want to go the extra mile to make some shit that'll scare some people. Same thing with makeup artists. Same thing with, like, actors, you know, who are like, well, I can get a job doing this. It pays. It's fun. It can be a good, grand old time. And you just have these folks kind of come together, and especially at Universal, where it's like, this one is technically better. Universal, where it's like, okay, well, we have the best in props, we have the best in makeup around, we can really make this a next level thing. That's why I think the Universal one's cool. It's also more cinematic, and, like, while scaring people is, you know, the goal, I think that's also a better, it's a clearer goal to make this look great. Like, you go to other places, and I'm not going to name any names, but they're like, well, the goal is to scare you, so let's just put up messed up things and really get in people's heads. And it's like, well, yeah, but if it looks like shit, and I know that it's not actually a scary thing, it kind of brings it down. But, you know, I guess it all depends on what you want. I like those haunted houses where they're like, you have to sign a waiver, and it's like, oh, you might actually get hurt. Like, fuck that, dude. I want to see you make something. Make a show. Make a story, you know? But, what do I know? I watched The Crazies this weekend, so what do I know about horror? I could have watched, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Something about dreams. I don't remember the specific title. Okay. This buttress is not clean. Ah, shit. If you ever go to Nons in the future, try mixing the boysenberry drink with Sprite. Alright. Does that make alcohol, or? That's how we get messed up at Knott's Berry Farm. They don't know. No, I'm just kidding. It's been a long time since I've been back to Knott's. There we go. Oh shit, is Caesar up here? Ah, shit. Last time I went, they made me go on Ghost Rider. Yeah, my brother told my dad, like, you shouldn't take Kirk on Ghost Rider. And my dad's like, he'll be fine. And I was not fine. I was the opposite of fine. I was about as not fine as you could get. About as not fine as possible. Shit. I know I could just get a ladder, but now it's a matter of principle. If I can do it without a ladder, why would I get a ladder? I am actively walking. Come on. Come on. No. Son of a bitch. Alright. So I've done this before, so why don't we do up the buttress. Up the buttress, over to here, on top of this bad boy, which brings us to here. Haha. I have bested you. Weird temple. Oh, that's another figurehead. I thought it'd be figure tail, based on its location. was like 6 or 7. Hot damn, my uncle made me get on every ride that day but accelerator. Your uncle sounds like a douche. That's not a cool thing to do. I got a thing with roller coasters. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't want to participate in them. But I find them fascinating, and I like to observe them. And that doesn't make any sense to folks that love roller coasters, and that's fine. It doesn't have to make sense to you. Just don't make me go on them. I'm not trying to ruin your fun. I'm trying to have my own fun. And I have tons of fun watching roller coasters. I have tons of fun talking about roller coasters. I don't like being on roller coasters. Okay? That's what's going on. And if you find that to be a problem, that's on you. I don't have to get on these rides. I paid the price of admission to the park. I can now observe the ride from a distance if I'd like to. I'm a professional at holding bags for people when they go on rides. And some rides I enjoy. But it's a height thing. It's about height. It's about the anxiety of what happens at that height if I happen to be on the ride and something happens. There's a lot that I consider about the ride, and therefore would not like to go on it. And that should be okay. That should be fine. Your friend group should be able to accept that about you, and they should just let you live your life how you want to live it. There should be no pressure, okay? People who pressure their friends on the rides are the same people that pressure people into drugs. I've said it. You're just as bad. You're drug-pushing monsters. But your drug is adrenaline and danger. Okay? And maybe that's not the high I want to experience. Okay? Maybe I want to experience the high of a well-themed park. A park that took its time to transport you to something that is not real. And your enjoyment is to be on a loud and scary thing that could kill you under the right circumstances. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Oh my gosh, is the top... Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Now comes the question of how in the hell do you get on top of this thing? My brother tried to get me on Guardians of the Galaxy, but I said, fuck no. Yeah. I went through the ride when it was the Hollywood Tower of Terror. The Twilight Zone Hollywood Tower of Terror, because I love Twilight Zone. But then when the ride part was about to start, I was like, cool, where's your exit? And I got off the ride, and people looked at me strangely, and I said, I don't give a shit about your opinion. Think I give a damn? I don't give a shit that there's like a 10-year-old who's going on it. Cool. The 10-year-old is braver than I am. But you know what I can do? Drive. Make financial decisions for myself. I'm an adult in the eyes of the state. Can you imagine how the monks would have felt if they returned to find their temple completely caked in cow excrement? I don't know. I imagine they'd get pretty peeved about it. I mean, for anyone, you'd see it as a sign. A sign to move. Because this can occur, period. Sounds like a brother. Look at the little kids getting on it. I don't give two shits. I'll see you at the exit. Yeah, everybody does that. Everybody does that. And you want to know what the response is? You know what the response is? That's a child. That child doesn't know anything. And right now it's being taught to look at danger and laugh. That child is the one that gets, you know, eaten by the velociraptors when he gets older, because he goes, I can conquer this because I conquered the ride that looked at danger and laughed. That's what I'm doing now, because I've been taught since I was a youngin' that this shouldn't be taken seriously. Being high up, seeing scary ass things. It's just fun. It's all in good fun. Like, yeah, well, enjoy it. I'm not, so I don't. Call me whatever you want to. I don't give a shit. What else a part of this figurehead is? Boom, clean figurehead. Boom, clean roof ridge. I might have to look up how to get on the tower roof, because I don't know how the hell that's gonna happen. Oh, shit. Shit, 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 shit. No, no, no. Oh, fine, fine. Oh, God. I guess I could have climbed up that side, couldn't have. Oh, why? Didn't want to walk through cow excrement. Jeez. I never got on Splash Mountain for a single reason. There's no splash. I've been on Splash Mountain before. I just don't like getting wet. I'm not a fan of that drop, but I don't like getting wet. I feel like even if they're like, oh, you go during the afternoon when it's like hot, so it feels good. It's like, it still fucking sucks. Still sucks, my guy. Still not a pleasant experience. Boom, clean tower. How do you do this? Shit. How am I gonna be able to get in there? Don't know. Well, we have... a lot of figureheads. Who is the head figurehead? I've been to Universal once in my life. Universal is a good one-time go, in my opinion. I think there's just enough to do for basically one day, and then you're good. You're good for a little while. Oh, fine. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Big ass donut. Well, that's good enough reason. And I'm still bummed, even though I know they had to do it eventually, and what they replaced it with is not a bad replacement. I'm still bummed they got rid of Back to the Future the ride. And it's something where clearly, like, just doing the mental math and thinking about it for longer than 30 seconds, you're like, of course they had to get rid of Back to the Future the ride. They go into a future that they've already passed, so, like, you have to get rid of it. But, you know, it still hurts. It still hurts. Because I see that Simpsons building, and I know what once stood there. And Universal's like, do you know how much fucking money The Simpsons is pulling in? Still mad you couldn't write it. There's some dude who I guess is working long and hard to develop a VR experience that's basically the entire ride from waiting in line to getting on it and riding it. And supposedly it's not like the best, but what they've gotten so far is pretty cool. What? Oh, you gotta be shitting me. You've gotta be shitting me. Of all the things, that is what the problem is? The inside of the figurehead's mouth? Oh, you've gotta be stupid. Okay, now I see where the problem is. You son of a bitch. There we go. Stupid figurehead bullshit. Alright. Shit balls. You know, I mean, you can watch the ride. You can watch the ride on the Black to the Future. On the Back to the Future Blu-ray. Something I can do with this, right? Is that your way of saying focus? Gordon? Stop screwing around with a gnome. I'm doing this without any. I'm trying to do this without ladders. Don't know why. Well, it says you woke up with a sore throat. Maybe a water might help. That's true. That's true. Still a little tingly. Little tingly. A little tingly tingler. Don't know what exactly. Damn it, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I'll take care of this stuff from that position so I don't have to leave the ground again. What the fudge is happening? I was able to do this earlier. What is going on? Alrighty. I don't know why, but this also reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima. Not sure. There's not really a lot of architecture that's similar in Ghost of Tsushima, but it's still reminding me of it. %, clean. Hot diggity damn. Barge board. Alright, we're gonna... Barge board. I think this is where I made the Caesar from Rise of the Planet of the Apes joke. Is Caesar in here? I guess they did call it back in the other. Why isn't that section clearing up? That's kind of weird and ominous. Dun, dun, dun. Well, everybody in this area's got some rain to look forward to. It's gonna rain and it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain and rain and rain. People are gonna freak out because it's raining and it's hot and it's raining. It's hot and it's raining. It's already raining. Yeah, it's been raining too. I remember seeing a report about it, and they're like, yeah, it's going to be this category storm by the time it gets to us. Here's the trajectory, and I was like, oh, I mean, I've seen hurricane reports before. I think that means that it's basically just going to be pretty harsh storm by the time it gets to us. We've had quite a few storms already, and then everyone's like, oh my god, this is it! And I'm like, is it? It's going to get way worse for us, guys. The whole thing clean. I say Twister gave me some temple, some kind of sacred hose down instead. Secret little miracle just between us. Just telling the truth. So obviously this animal. So obviously this animal is the reason that all this shit is all over their temple. They clearly did something and caused this temple to be covered in shit. And they paid me to take care of it before the monks notice. Clearly. That's the buttress. I'm actually going to use it. I'm going to use it. I caved because I'm very curious about something. It says this wall is not clean. What is preventing this wall from showing clean? And I got it, so we're good. Flash flood warning. Nice. No, it was the flash flood warning, the official one. Amber alerts always make me feel a little sad, not just because there's a potential child in danger, but it's like, I work from home, I'm not a very outgoing person, when am I going to see this guy? Unless the dude comes to my house looking for a phone to call, like, AAA, like, I'm not gonna see him. Like, I know you're giving it to everybody, but I think you should filter out the folks that are definitely not gonna see this dude. Unless the dude is, like, hankering for some Jack in the Box at the same time I am. Well, what's the likelihood I'm gonna see this guy in his very specific vehicle? Should really be a button for Amber Alerts where it's just like, yeah, I'm not leaving my house, so I'm not gonna find this guy, but, you know, I'll keep a lookout in my neighborhood. There's probably going to be a bunch of back and forth because there's a text chain that I'm on. I think folks on that text chain were planning something for today, so now they're talking about it in light of the rain. Now this kind of looks like Lord of the Rings a little bit. Boom. Doubles. Bitch, I'm gonna have to get up for the rest of that frame. You asshole. You son of a bitch. Oh shit. Might go a little past noon just to get this done. We're at 86. As a Californian, I don't know how seriously to take this. Yeah, I agree with you. hide underneath things for earthquake. Well, it's... I don't know. It seems like, okay, obviously we gotta take it seriously, but then it's also like, guys, we've had, like, a lot of rain already. And we had that one time where it seemed like it rained for, what, like 3 days straight, almost? And everyone's like, oh man, this is it, this is bad. And it got pretty bad, for sure. But it wasn't bad enough to actually shut down some things. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? How in the world? How am I supposed to get underneath? You're a douche. There isn't anything else on the top side, so what in the hell? Oh, that's what it is? That's dumb. That was dumb. Stupid. Excuse. These little snakes on the buttresses are giving me real Slytherin vibes. Said it before, and I'll say it again. Very Slytherin. I'm not a big fan of the Slytherin. Gotcha. Got that sneaky little bit, knowing exactly where that would be. But we're in the 90s. We're in the 90%ing. Boom. Clean buttress. Cleaning that buttress. be a pervy architect and stare at buttresses. Roof ridge. Cleaning that roof ridge. There we go. Freaking figurehead. We're going into OT. Or extra minutes. Boom. Window frame. Done. That snake buttress. Come on, dude. Now you can get on this lip. I've seen you do it. Boom, clean buttress. Cannot do science in the morning. This cannot be done. What? How are these buttresses not clean? I pride myself on clean buttresses. That's these sneaky, sneaky snakes. Alright, buttresses done. Figureheads. Which fucking figurehead? You son of a bitch. I cannot wait to clean this thing, because I frickin' hate the figureheads. I hate them. Boom, figurehead clean. There's just a wall. There's just a wall that isn't clean. Where? Oh my god. Where? Where aren't you clean? Just help me out. I feel like it might be broken. Oh shit, I think I figured it out. I think I figured it out. I think I figured it out. Boom. Wooden trim. Why do you gotta do that to me? Wooden trim. Windows. Check window frames just to make sure it's not one of these two. So I don't have to get my ass up here again. Fantastic. Okay, so that's you. Oh, damn. I know it don't sound too enticing, but any chance you want to clean up my abandoned washroom? Yeah, that does sound kind of shitty. I started with the side you can't even see. Boom. Goodness me, they say you were the best and now I'm a believer. The temple looks immaculate. This is going to give them such a lift, and I can't look forward to many more years of free labor on the farm. Thanks again. Alrighty. Clean the washroom. Let's just take a look at this before we sign off. You know, a lot of folks have asked me recently, Clem, why the heck you buy a huge abandoned washroom when you only ever gonna need it 6 to 8 times a day? I'll tell you, I'm gonna convert it into a mock Camp's premier nightclub. Youngins crave novelty, right? And I can tell you, ain't no one around here experienced acoustics like you can get in this place. I can tell you that. Anywho, it's a bit of a germaphobe myself, so I can only get as far as taking the cubicle doors off. If you could blast the place, let's see what I'm playing with. Let's take a look at this job. We might get a tornado warning. Oh shit. Alright. Let's just take a look at what the fudge are you talking about? First off, this place is huge. Secondly, it is gross. Holy jeez. What kind of accessories can we buy for this guy? So we bought. Vista. I don't have... I'm still trying to figure this out. So there's a $1,200 thing, a $900 soap nozzle, $600 long extension, and I still don't have... Okay. So there's this guy, and there's this guy. Am I gonna be the dude that gets all the accessories just because then I can say I have all the accessories? If I am, then I might as well just start buying everything. I'm gonna get about $700 from this. 700 plus 600. That's 1,300. Yes, 1,300 will get me one of those. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, and boom, and boom. Because, yeah, I didn't buy the Urban X ones because I already had a better power washer by then. This guy I'm going to need eventually. And this, it seems like everything's going to be at close range, so I really don't need this kind of shit yet. So I'll just hold off on buying anything. But the real question is, will this blow off the... Jeez, that was like blinding me. But will this blow off... No, it won't. It won't blow off the graffiti, which is cool, because then I get to read it. Here's what I'm thinking for the nightclub conversion. I'm thinking you're psycho for wanting this to be a nightclub, period. Best shot. Glitter balls leads you through the entry tunnel, shining light of every color in your face. Get y'all discombobulated but excited. You're talking about a haunted house at this point. Oh, the little surfing guy? That's cool. Why would there be dudes power washing or putting up a power wash graffiti? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's a face on the toilet. Anyway. Now I'm just running around trying to find graffiti. Because the graffiti is really fun. Filthy. Yeah, no shit, bud. So somebody really liked drawing aliens. And rejected Rick and Morty characters. That one's kind of cool. Oh, there's one on the ceiling too. Oh shit. A lot of artists coming out of this bathroom. Good job. Look, encouragement when you shit. Maybe we should keep the graffiti up. You know, it does look like a pretty nice bathroom once you get the dirt off. Anyways, I better cut it out. Could be a power outage for all I know pretty soon. Anyway, oh goodness, stretch it out. Thank you, Squirtle and Shadow, for coming by. I appreciate it, and anybody who was watching on the stream and maybe didn't want to speak. I appreciate it. Just hanging out. I will be back tomorrow evening, assuming that there's power. Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time to watch a film. Hopefully everybody's staying safe and staying as dry as possible, and hopefully I will catch you when I can. Laters. Peace.